Hey everybody, and welcome to the Gauntlet, where we go over everything esports news. I'm your host, Captain Zeus, followed by my co-hosts JT and Novaverse. Today we're going to be going over the Week 1 matchups for the Overwatch League. A lot of good stuff that happened here.
All right, Zeus, I got a couple questions for you. First off, I know you're a pretty big fan of Paris, and I know you predicted him to win. What did you think about that Paris-London matchup? While you're talking about it, how about you throw some more B footage up of it?
So that London-Paris matchup was exactly how I expected it to be. Even though, like I've said previously, we didn't have some of our top guys there, like Soon, my main man Soon, we still dominantly 3-0'd London. It was phenomenal. We did it last year. We did it again this year. It's a good start. I mean, sure, we're 1-1 for the season. I mean, it's not the greatest, but we still have a win on the board, and I like where this is going. We just got to work on some things, definitely not get hit by too many surprises, and I think we can be, get back to where I want them to be.
Now, Nova, I know they didn't have, Soon, which I know Zeus is going to throw up some footage of him right now, so we know what we're missing. What did you think about London? I mean, what are they going to have to do to build on this?
I mean, like I said, they're a team with new players that going into this season haven't exactly played with each other as much as they would have liked to, but I still saw potential in this team. Highly was doing great as a support role, as a leader for this team, playing Ana. I really saw the leadership in his skills right there. And I also saw Glister, DPS for London, new to the team, but also showed great potential playing Reaper, able to do good ults at the right time, get very critical kills. So I saw there was potential. It's the rough in the stone. So, but just work on the team comp, take this in as experience, and I think London can do pretty good.
So I know you were talking about team comps there. What would you like to see them play? I mean, I would like to see London do something different, because what they're doing currently is just not working. So is it the team comp that's the problem, or just the team aspect?
I'm not gonna lie. They were running some very funky team comps. Like, instead of like dive, they were doing like just two random tanks. I mean, both of them were running Ryan, Orisa, and then DPS was either May or Reaper or something like that. But then they would switch it up to different characters. I think that might have tripped them up a little bit. Instead of doing more staple characters that fit well together, they did a little bit out of the norm. And I think that might have tripped them up a little bit, because they might have been trying to trip up Paris, but it's probably that. Maybe they need to find a staple to stick to.
They got to learn how to stop tripping. That's what I think. They just keep tripping themselves. I think they were trying to be like Chengdu, to be honest.
I don't think I handed that over to you.
Oh, it's okay. I was just gonna put my point in real quick. They were just.
I mean, you just like to jump in on everything. I mean, you're about to get your hand slapped here in a minute anyway, so don't worry.
Okay, you know what? Let's talk about this match then. You want to go to this match?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm gonna give you the full floor.
So this is what I think about the Paris matchup. It was absolutely amazing, really dominant, and I think they're just gonna keep this up. They're gonna keep the flow up, because London's just trash now. This is what I think.
Okay, I got some questions for you then.
What the hell? We can't let that just slide.
I got some questions for you there.
Ask the questions. Ask the questions.
The questions are, Paris looks pretty good against bottom teams. What are they going to do against good teams? How are they going to improve? I'm not convinced they're going to beat a Shock, a Vancouver, or a New York. What are they going to have to do to get into that top 5?
So to be honest, I can not necessarily agree, but I agree, because those are really tough teams. Those are really tough teams to go
against. That's why I asked.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Let me answer the question real quick, okay? That'd be great. I really think they should work on their ult timings, stop being out as much. Like when I was watching the Valiant matchup, we had too many players just out in the open. I think that happens a lot with some of the middle tier teams that are trying to get to the top. They're trying too hard. I think they just need to relax, do what they're good at, and just, communication, teamwork, just keep everything up. And I would think they'd be able to get up there to the top.
So you think positioning is going to make this team a top team?
Correct.
Okay. So any player in particular, or just as a unit, like as they're moving with their tank ball?
I would honestly just say as a unit, to be honest. I mean, our healers are really good, and we have some pretty good DPSs. Sure, our tanks could work up a little bit, but I just think as a unit, it'll just be better.
Now, how do you think they're going to be able to work on that? Is that in-game calling, or is that coaching?
I would really just I'd probably say in-game calling. I'd say in-game calling.
I think that's a pretty good. I mean, I think they have a pretty good coaching roster. I would agree with you. I think that's probably in-game decisions. Now, as far as London, they need a voice. I think they've got a lot of new players, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they kind of just came out flat this week. You wanted to say anything about that? How do you think they're going to come in next week?
I mean, I hope they come into next week not down in the dumps. I know it's very tough losing 2 games in a row to very dominant teams, but if I was London coming into next week, you cannot keep your head down. You need to come into this next week strong. Take what you learn from these losses, and honestly, London, I see there's potential. You talked about if there needs to be a voice there. I spoke about highly veteran player, been in the league, but if talking about like a new player to this team that needs to be a voice, I think Glister, like I mentioned earlier, he showed that he can be a dominant person or player that can lead and help highly. He showed off a little bit in Paris, but it's a team game. Everyone needs to show up if they want to win. So put it right there. But what another interesting match was, Los Angeles Valiant versus Vancouver Titans.
Oh gosh.
I know JT is just flexing right there.
If that's what
JT, if you're so excited, just take it away. How did you feel about this matchup?
Oof. Ooh, it's a cold day in Canada, my friend. It's a cold day. Welcome to the frozen tundra as we freeze your teams in place with the Mayolts, wrecking kids. What can I say? The Canadians are here to play, bro. That's it. We're here. I don't know what else to say other than, we're kind of wrecking people right now. People were down on Toronto. People were mixed feelings about Vancouver. Vancouver's a top 5 team. I mean, they've shown it this week. Toronto's, I don't know, maybe 9. They're definitely maybe 9 or 10 in there. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't know what any team's going to do against a Canadian team right now. They're just playing very smart. They're playing as a unit. Looks like they've been playing a whole lot with that unit. I don't know what they're doing. They must be playing scrims a whole lot. But, man, that is really impressive showing so far. I mean, they just kind of crushed LA.
Oh, crushed. Zeus, what could be a takeaway from Los Angeles Valiant from this matchup?
All I'm going to say is McGravy. That man. Oh, my golly. His diva plays were amazing. Obviously, we had some issues. I mean, and KSF. Don't get me started on KSF or KSP. Anyways, I think our big takeaways is we got to stop having our tanks being out. Gig in particular, you see so many times on the kill feed, he'll just be out. The whole push would be over. Everyone's resetting or, spawning back in. And then he just gets killed last. He's always just out somewhere trying to play catch up. We got to fix that. Either Gig needs to step up his game or we got to get rid of him. And then our healers, they got to step up their game. They really do, because wow, if I was playing that, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be feeling a lick of heals.
All I'm saying there is, everyone was hyping up Gig. He's going to be this all-star player for the team.
I wasn't.
I know you weren't, but that's what all the Twitter plebs were saying. They were all like, oh my gosh, Gig's this amazing player. Listen, he might be the reason they lost. Him alone being out of position, I mean, he would just die to every team fight. They got initiated on him.
Time.
He just would drop a shield, get slept, get caught out, get booped, whatever. It doesn't matter. He was just dying for free. He wasn't getting any ult charge. He wasn't really building. He wasn't protecting anybody. He wasn't peeling. None of the good factors as a tank player. He wasn't accomplishing anything. He was just getting caught out and dying. That's like, I don't know, maybe half of their team fights. Now, Gravy, he had a pretty big ult there. But honestly, that wasn't even him. That was the support lineup. Yeah, he threw a pretty good ult, but they pushed him all out of the shield. So, I mean, let's be real. Yeah, it was a good placement for the ult, but it wasn't even McGravy, really. It was more of his team pushing him in. That was just a good team play. Everyone's giving credit to McGravy.
I'm going to give credit. My boy
If you
McGravy.
rewatch it, just rewatch it. Here, throw the clip up. Literally, look, watch. So he throws his ult out, and then everyone gets pushed into it. That's honestly just slow motion there. See? That's what I'm talking about. Really wasn't McGravy. Yeah, he threw it in a good position. But honestly, I think that's more of a team play rather than just a solo play. McGravy kind of impressed me, and Gig was like so underwhelming it's not even funny.
I will agree that Gig is the weak point of that team right now. I'll agree that they probably lost because of him. There were so many times where once he's dead, that's it. There goes the push because he's the Rhine. He's that main front man. It was so irritating as an LA fan to see that happen consistently. Not just one, not just two, but in 3 matches in a row. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe it was first stage jitters. He couldn't handle that Dallas stage. I don't know what was going on, but it was not good. He really got to step up his game. And I'll agree that there was some good teamwork when it came to those McGravy ults. There was really good teamwork all around. There was those things here and there, and Gig specifically, that they just got to fix so that way they can make more dubs.
I agree.
Okay. Speaking of dubs, here comes the hype train. Woot woot. All aboard for one shocking revelation. Nova, not only did San Francisco play an amazing matchup, they also had their win streak ended by a team which, as we have, JT and I have written off, just took a map. Nova, how do you feel about that?
Whoa. I'm not going to let you get away with that. Hold on. No. Whoa. Cut the tape there. No.
I was going to say if you noticed that.
Wrong. I could have so many choice words for you right now. I'm not going to take the floor from Nova because I think he deserves it. But, from the beginning, are you kidding me? Bleed blue. Come on. Sorry, Nova. It's all yours. I'm not rude.
Zeus, would you like to repeat the question?
I will repeat the question for you. He really just threw it all off there. How do you feel about that win, man? How do you feel about that win?
I mean, it's Dallas. Really. I know, JT, you're probably offended right now. And I will admit that Dallas, they have improved. But still, San Francisco shock just shocked the world. I mean, it's not shocking. Are we just going to keep on doing puns here? I mean,
electrifying.
It was the San Francisco shock was dominant in this matchup. I mean, the only time and the only match they did win was one time San Francisco shock slipped up. I won't even say Dallas really won it. It was more San Francisco just was like, dang, my back hurts real quick. Let me take a rest. And then Dallas was like, wow, they're going a little bit easier on us. I mean, honestly, it was on horizon. San Francisco wasn't able to cap the first point, but I mean, you would imagine, they weren't even able to capture the first point. Dallas is gonna just steamroll past it. It wasn't until the last seconds that Dallas was capable of capping just the 1/3 of the first point. So, I mean, it took all the energy out of Dallas just to try to cap 1 point against San Francisco, who was just chilling, sipping on some lemonade. So,
wow, that was a lot. JT, how do you feel about that loss there, man? Because according to Nova, they literally just let you guys win. that first map. And then they're like, oh, hey, you guys took that map. We'll just have to, show you who's boss. How do you feel about that, man? Oh, here we go.
I think you just added some more fuel to my fire.
Shocking.
That's just an embarrassing statement for you to make. That we took a map and you gave it to us. Are you joking? Did you even see the same game we?
Of course. How am I able to report on this?
First,
Dang.
it should have been. Let's be completely real here. Unless one standout player, which we all know who it was, if I'm not gonna say it, I'll let Nova say it in a minute. If it wasn't for a standout play on the first map, it would be 1-0 Dallas. So my prediction could have been right. We had it at 99%, and if it wasn't for 1x, unbelievable play. Hey, you want to show that clip? Please
show that clip. It was God tier right there.
It was pretty amazing. That's what sealed the first game for them. So this McCree play, honestly, unbelievable. Other than that, Dallas would have taken that match. Now the rest of the matches were pretty close. It was competitive back and forth. That's what makes me so proud of Dallas. The K is just absolutely dominating people right now.
That is true.
He's just going through getting angels everywhere. We pulled out a Junkrat. Are you kidding me? Who does that? Worked out, got an ult off on it, saved the point. I mean, let's be real. Dallas has come a long way. They're not a bottom team anymore. They take a game off one of the best teams in the league. I'm not saying they're a top 5 team, but I am saying they're in that upper echelon now, maybe somewhere between like 13th and 8th. It's hard to judge them because they did have the game against LA too, but I think that was a slow game for them. This is their true potential. And you got to remember, most of this roster is pretty new. And, I mean, you got Doa. Doa's dominating people. This is a really strong roster. I'm very proud of them. Big step up. I think this is finally the time we get to shine and really get to prove the point that Dallas isn't a bottom team.
I'm going to bring this question to you, JT. That was an amazing performance. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of stalemates, a lot of overtimes happening. How do you feel even though it was a loss and you took a map off of San Francisco, how do you feel this fares for not only Dallas, but some of those other teams that are like that middle tier that were really like underdogs, like Toronto, for example? How do you feel that works out for the rest of the season?
I mean, it's a big deal. Being able to take a map off of a team like this, it's important, especially so early on for the development of this team. We all knew San Francisco was going to be a dominant team. I mean, that wasn't a surprise to anyone. Let's be real. What was a surprise is this new roster working so well. If they're able to build off of that, and this coaching staff that I did criticize last week is able to continue to foster this talent, I mean, we could be a top team. Maybe the coaches don't get fired this year. I hope they don't. I hope they're able to bring this talent and really bump it up another level. I can't wait to see what they have in store for us.
Yeah, maybe they were listening to us and they got scared. Nova, how do you feel? How do you feel that San Francisco having their win streak ended by such a middle tier team? How do you feel this fares for not only them but like Vancouver and the other top teams that people are climbing the ladder? They're wanting to get that top spot. How do you feel?
I mean, I wouldn't even fear that. What's the famous saying? What comes up must come down. A lose streak will eventually break. Stop doing that face, JT. It's true. It's the law of gravity. But yes, a lose streak will eventually break. But should they fear that? No. It's only one loss on one map. After that, they didn't win another match. It was 3-1. So, I mean, what's there to fear? Like, a team in a competitive league can actually fight back? I would hope so. It's a competitive league for a reason. I hope there's some competition. It wouldn't be exciting. So, honestly, if I was a top-tier team, if I was in New York, if I was San Francisco, if I was Vancouver, and I had to face those mid-tier or lower tiers and they take one map, I wouldn't fear that much.
Okay. And last question for you guys. I'm going to start with you, Nova. Who do you think was your MVP of that match? I know you got a lot.
I'm going to say it. It's not Sinatra. That's what I'm going to say. It was actually my boy Striker. I think he did
Striker.
phenomenal. And that's the exact play that JT was actually trying to highlight. Hashtag trying.
I was going to let you have the honors. It's your
Oh,
player.
why, thank you. But here, you can show the clip again. Bam, clip right there. Striker, Dallas looked like they were going to win the map, win the point. They were so elated that Dallas Homestead was like, we did it. We won. And Striker said, no, no, no. My boy got headshots after headshots. Ana getting the nano boost to him and then just popping heads off, even sacrificing a high noon to reload his gun and start shooting again. That's a smart play. You don't really see people do that, do you?
You don't at all.
He was amazing. Phenomenal.
Yeah, they were looking absolutely dominant. And a lot of highlight reels from that matchup. A lot of them. JT.
You know, I actually want to bring up a highlight reel
Okay.
quick from that exact same match.
Mind if I transition it to you? But go ahead.
No, I don't need a transition.
Okay.
Because, I'm kind of offended at this point. Let's talk about another highlight reel. I seem to remember in that same map, there was a nano-boosted Tracer who might have got stuck in traffic. I don't know, but I think that happened. I think that's a highlight clip for Dallas.
That's
definitely
a highlight.
great clip. It's a perfect meme format. I mean, I Sinatra. he just made a oop. He made a oof right there.
He's allowed one, right?
He's allowed one oof again.
Everyone is.
I forgot how dominant that guy was. Pretty amazing. Kind of happy he got, roadkill.
Just to try to show his human side. Just,
We needed it. As far as I'm concerned, though, I mean, the Shock is a good team. I didn't think Striker was going to be able to do what he was able to do, man. He wrecked our back line. I don't know what we were supposed to do. And the support line? Are you kidding me? The amount of times Dallas players were asleep, like, what are we supposed to do about that? That's not even a starting roster support for y'all either. So maybe it needs to be. That team's really impressive. But my man, Decay and Doa showing up. Decay's over there just destroying people. Doa has some of the best positioning I've seen this far in the league. He's always seems to be in the right spot to do the right things, and he's building ult charge whenever he needs to. And then you got Decay just picking people off. I think I've got a lot of hope for this team. My MVP for this team is, of course, actually, I'm going to give it to Doa. Decay got a lot of kills. I was going to go with Decay, but Doa, I'm really impressed with, the upgrades there. I could give it to either one, but in my head, I preferred, the support line getting some love.
Yeah, I was definitely going to say Decay was really one of the players that helped Dallas a lot, try to keep it balanced, actually give some competition. You were talking about, I believe, Architect. Last season it was actually a DPS, and playing Ana and getting those slumps, I was very impressed.
How does he do that, by the way? Has he transitioned? He was a hybrid, right? And then he went to DPS, and now he's support. How does he keep? He's like a utility player. He plays whatever they need.
And that's fantastic to have a player like that you can trust and be like, hey, I need you to play this character for this comp. And he can confidently say, yes, I can do it. And do plays like that. That's fantastic. I really give it up for Architect. I love that.
Do you think Architect's going to be able to take that starting spot now? I know it's a rough one. That's
100%.
A lot of good players.
I'm going to say 100% on that.
I mean,
after that matchup, how can you not?
Well, he only really played Ana, right?
Yeah,
True.
Ana.
But even then, dude, that was.
I don't know.
Amazing.
I was impressed by him. I think he would be if he's not a starting player a starting roster spot for this team, then another team should definitely pick him up. I can name like 3 teams off the top of my head that desperately need someone who can play support.
Yeah, I think Architect is part of the starting. He should be because great stats last season. So I believe he should be the starting. And then
Is he now
shoot,
considered,
what?
is he now considered starting roster? Because he didn't start the games. I was kind of surprised when they put him in because I didn't really know he was playing support at the time.
I thought he played like it. Shoot, that's
That's
what I'm saying.
That
So
might be the best performance.
That's true.
honestly,
A lot of good matchups this week, and we have a lot more matchups to come for the first season where there's no stages. But that'll wrap it up here for today. I'm Captain Zeus, followed by my co-hosts Novaverse and JT, and we will catch you guys in the next video.